subject, help me save my son. Hello, Steve and Morning Show. Steve, most of the time, your show covers topics about relationships. Well, mine is different. I desperately need your advice. My issue is my 19-year-old son and his cry out for help. How do you make a long story short? A couple of days ago, my son called me frustrated and angry. He kept screaming he doesn't care anymore. Life means nothing to him. And I told him, wait, son, talk to your dad. I can't tell you how to be a man, only give advice. He said, I just need to talk to you. He began to explain his life and how he is tired of people taking advantage of him. Naturally, I'm afraid. I hear his frustration and at a loss of what to do. You know what I did the next day? I went and found that street and drove up and down that street praying for my son. Yes, I did, asking God to release the stronghold on my son. Desperate? Yes, I am. He grew up in a nice sort of middle-class environment. He is a very articulate young man and talented, but he seems to like the street life. He embraced trouble in high school to prove to his peers otherwise and landed into trouble. I think his battle is doing what's right and trying to be faithful to the streets at the same time. It's like he knows he doesn't belong there, but trying to prove to his associates they are wrong about him. Well, I have no insurance any longer for counseling. You see, I was laid off by my job. Now I'm continuing my education. My husband is disabled, and we have just about exhausted any reserve funds we have. I am furious at my wits. My child means everything to me. Anything else at this moment doesn't matter. I've got to find a way to save my son from self-destruction, societal destruction, and his life. I want you to read my story because there may be other parents who face the same dilemma. I'll ask the question again. How do I help my son, Steve? Sincerely, a worried mother. Wow. That's a heartfelt letter from a mother, not only a worried mother, but a loving mother as well who cares. Okay, 12 after. We'll be back. You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show. This strawberry letter with the subject being from a mom, a worried mother. She says, help me save my son. And really, she deferred to you, Steve, because you're a man and, and all of that. I mean, I just wanted to tell her one thing. She talked about counseling. She doesn't have money for it. If she goes to church or anything, she could talk to some of the ministers there and possibly get some help that way, some counseling for her son.
Yeah, counseling, especially when you talk about you don't have the benefits of the money, then that's when counseling becomes a bit overrated. Because like Shirley said, there's other avenues that are far more effective oftentimes. Because the dilemma that you're facing here seems to be a son who's rebellious, who's going through a period in his life that he's in such conflict that now he's lashing out in anger, but he's only angry at himself because the conflict that your son is having is internal. Whenever you're being led by peer pressure, you're going to feel this constant tap. Because if you don't really belong in that situation and you're doing it just for your peers and not for yourself, then right there, you're in a conflict. Now, let me just see if I might be able to say something. And even though I must say to you, lady, there's not enough information in this letter. The speculation is too much. Is your son selling drugs or is he on the drugs? Is your son involved in a gang? Is your son trying pimping? See, you got to have a little bit more specifics, but either way, here's what has to happen. You've got to get your son to come to you, to your house, some kind of way. I don't care how you have to do it. Drastic things require drastic measures. You have to get your son to come to you some kind of way. You have to get your son alone, and you have to start some type of real communication with your son. You need to find out, first of all, ask your son, what does he want to do with his life? See, a lot of people never sit down and make a goal or set up a plan or anything. When you fail to plan, then surely you plan on failing. People who don't have plans are open to whatever. Your son, you have to find out what do you want with your life. And then you can easily point out that the direction you're headed in is most definitely not going to get you. Your destination of arrival will not be the plan for your life. That's a very important thing. Now, your husband, who is his father, is disabled. I don't know what disability you talking about. He can't work because his back went out. I don't know what it is. He in a wheelchair. He bedridden. I don't know what it is. But your husband got to talk to his boy. I don't care if somebody got to wheel him out there to him. You got to save your son from himself right now. Now, praying is the best weapon that you got right now, but y'all gonna have to get your son up in that house where you all can talk to him and make out of where your son is trying to go. Secondly, if you can do anything to introduce your son to a different set of people, if you can just, I don't know, does he live with you all? Is he 19? Does he stay with you all? Have you all thought about moving? I mean, look, man, if you're trying to save your son, but I know you just said all you reserve money is shot, so maybe moving ain't an option. People don't understand that, but some people just can't move. Okay, if you have to stay there, you got to get your son in a situation where he has to be around a different kind of people. Now, after you find out what your son wants to do, just say, hey, look, would you ride with me? I'm your mother. Do me a favor. Would you come and ride with me? I don't care if you got to drive 3 miles, 3 hours out of town. Get him somewhere in a peer group of people that are around the same interest that he expressed interest in with his life. You've got to take some drastic steps here. Driving up and down the street praying for your son, that's great. That's a good start. Like I say, I don't know what disability your husband got, but your husband got to step up for real. He got to step up for real. He has to demonstrate to his son that he's concerned about him and he's willing to go the extra yard for him. Now, I don't care if he got to get his buddy to wheel him down the street. I don't know if y'all got to put that hospital bed out on the porch until you see him walk by. I don't know what you got to do, but y'all got to do something. Because what we do not need is to carelessly allow another black boy to slip through the cracks, especially when he belonged to you. If there's anything we could do to save our children, that's what we have to do. That's our job as parents. Now, this does not mean that you and your husband have failed as parents along the way. That's not necessarily the case. I know some great parents, man, who just having trouble with their kids. You can't, these days now are very, very different than when we were growing up. The internet is out there, emailing is out there, texting is out there, the computer. This world is different, man. What you can see on TV for $3.99 is different. What you can see for free, HBO, wow. You ever seen, Showtime, wow. You just cut it on and wow can just be in your living room for free. Part of the $39.95 package and get you the premium deal with cable, and this is a different world. You all have to take drastic measures to get to your son.
You're listening to the Harvey Morning Show.